to Talking Real Estate with Champions Real Estate Team here at Berkshire Hathaway Home Service Ambassador Real Estate Company. My name is Mark Wehner, the second team leader here at Champions Real Estate Team. So joining me is Russ Williams with Williams Mortgage. So we jump on here every Wednesday and kind of give you a rundown of what's going on in the real estate market over the last week. But we always like to start off with a quick tip. So quick tip this week is we're going to talk about our seller property condition disclosure statement. So I'll share that document with you here as it pulls up. Let me pull it on this screen here. So basically what this document is a seller has to fill this out if they own the property anytime they're selling it. And by law, the buyer has to receive a copy of that prior to entering into that purchase agreement. You can make a contingent upon viewing that because sometimes the seller may not have it completely filled out, but the house may get up on the market. Seller hasn't put it, or the agent hasn't put it on the MLS, or we don't have a copy of it. So, but from a seller's perspective, this is a document you want to take very seriously. You want to disclose anything and everything that you know about the property that may affect its value. Because if you try to not disclose something as an adverse material fact, let's say you know the basement leaks, you don't disclose it, you sell the house to the buyer, then all of a sudden, the basement's leaking. They bought it with them not knowing it did leak. They could essentially come back after you for any damages to that property. Obviously, you have to consult a real estate attorney and all that kind of fun stuff. But and for my sellers, I always kind of joke, if you don't disclose it, your neighbors will. So it's not that your neighbors are going to try to throw you under the bus, but neighbors just like to be helpful to the new owners when they move in. Oh yeah, well, did they ever get that water issue fixed in the basement or that leaky roof? And then all of a sudden the buyer's going, wait a minute. They're calling us as the agent going, hey, did you know that this had happened? So I tell my clients from seller's perspective, put anything and everything you know about it. Because in my mind as an agent, as you scroll down through here, it's basically, yes, this works, doesn't work. There's 4 pages of documents here, or 4 pages of questions and things of that sort, age of the furnace and those type of things. So you can find those typically in the serial numbers. And then anything after this part 2 here, you have to put an explanation on the last page. So does the roof leak? So you'd write, jot it out. The roof does leak, and then we've had it fixed by, said contractor. It's great if you keep your receipts or invoices of that being done. And so those are some of those things too, that, as a seller's perspective, from a negotiation standpoint, if you disclose it on here, and then let's say the buyer goes and does a home inspection and says, hey, I had an instance where the deck, my client that was selling the house didn't have an opportunity to fix the deck. We disclosed it. Hey, they're splitting boards, warping boards. And then the buyers came back, said, we want you to fix the entire deck. We want you to replace it. And we're like, well, wait a minute. We disclosed to you that it was in the condition that it was in. You saw the property, you did a home inspection. Therefore, we're not necessarily going to fix it because you should make your offer, contingent or make your offer based on the information that you had and price that into your price. And so when we listed that home, we listed it below market value because we knew it needed about an $8,000 to $10,000 deck on it. So we listed it for, I think at that time, like $260. Houses were selling for $275, $280 in that subdivision, and it needed new carpet. And so it needed some deferred maintenance items. But from a seller's perspective, and when we're working from a listing agent standpoint, we're going to protect you. So you're not having to, pay that extra. Somebody may not negotiate that in there or not know how to present that to a buyer's agent or a buyer that, hey, make your offer. And if I see those, on the flip side, from the buying side, if we see those things, I'm like, all right, we need to make our offer, with that in mind that, hey, you're going to need a new deck, you're going to need new carpet. And if the house is priced, way up here at market value, we need to kind of take a step back and look at it. You have to go with what the market is doing. So in our market, the last couple of years, we've seen sellers that need those repairs. They'll price it at the market price. And then agents and buyers get so emotional in those purchasing times, and then all of a sudden they're paying, let's say that house was at 280, they're paying $300,000 for it, and then they're still having to go back and put a new deck on it or those type of things, and then you're trying to catch up, as far as your appreciation and the property value of it based on those items that have shown up on the property disclosure. So those are a lot of things why it's very important to have a very experienced buyer's agent on your team and on your side as your representation out there. And that's the value that we bring to that from a buyer's perspective. And especially here at Champions Real Estate Team, we coach our agents, how to negotiate these things and protect our clients. And then from a seller's perspective, disclose everything. Because then if they come back and say, well, we want you to fix this, this, and this, no, you need to make that offer, with that that information in mind that, okay, when I buy this house, if I get it at 260, great. If I put a $10,000 deck on it, now we're at, let's say 270, I put some carpet in, do some paint and, say $10,000 worth of updates. Now we're at 280. Now you're at market value of that house, and you could turn around and sell that and essentially kind of get your money back based on that market. Now, obviously markets go up, go down, over time, but that's just kind of the mentality and how you look at that stuff. So I know this is probably longer than a quick tip. I guess it's more of just a general going how to utilize this document. So it's also a negotiation tool that we use here at Champions Real Estate Team, is looking at this document and kind of seeing what's on it, what's not on it. If there's things that are left blank, from a buyer's perspective, we're going to make the offer contingent upon that seller giving us that explanation of, maybe they just forgot it, or maybe, type of thing. But we want to know, does the roof leak? Does it not leak? Okay, does it, oh, we forgot to put that. Okay, great. But that's why we go through it with a fine tooth comb to make sure that, that everything that you're feeling comfortable with that house moving forward. Because sometimes right now, houses, if you got multiple offers, are maybe not doing home inspections. And so this is like literally the only document that you have that the seller's telling you, oh, this is what's wrong with the house that we know of, and so now you have to make that decision based off of that. And some people put don't know. I'm like, how have you lived in the house and don't know if you've had a roof leak in 30 years or 20 years or 10 years, those type of things. So you just have to, I mean, it's you can only take it for what the seller puts on here. But I look at it from when I'm working with my sellers, I just keep going back and forth here, but give that buyer as much information so they're comfortable with the purchase when they're moving forward. So that way you don't have any headaches down the road of, oh, you didn't disclose this or you hid this. And some people go, oh my gosh, there's so much stuff written on this blank page. I've seen this whole thing here filled up. And I think as an agent, I think that's a good thing personally, because it shows that the seller, if there was a leaky sink, they didn't just let it leak for 2 years and then mold's now underneath on the underboards and things of that sort, on the subfloor. It's taken care of. It was repaired. It was replaced, whatever they needed to do. So yeah, this is a whole laundry list of stuff. This is why we go over these things with you from a seller's perspective and a buyer's perspective, as it's required by law. But that's kind of our quick tip of the day here. So, but yeah, if you have any further questions and we can help you out, we'd love to go over any of these documents with you and make sure that you're the most educated home buyer and home seller out there. So great. All right, let's take a look at what's going on in the market here. So we got some activity going on. So as we look at over the last week, we had 514 new listings jump online. That's up about 60 units, 60 homes from the previous week. And then we had 489 new contracts written, and previous week was about 380. So we're up 100 units in there. So we're kind of getting more closer to that almost one in, one out activities we're seeing as we're, spring's kicking up. Obviously, we're supposed to be in the 80s this weekend. So great time to look, go out and look at homes. Sold homes, 352 happy new homeowners as of about 8:30 this morning. So congratulations to them over the last 7 days. So like I said, we're seeing some pretty good activity, more homes coming on the market. Obviously, more buyers are entering the market. And Russ will give us a rundown of what's going on the mortgage sides in just a little bit here. I think it's more stabilized, and, buyers are just, hey, we need to get a house. They are where they are. And if they go down anytime soon, near future, we'll refinance, type of thing. So I think that's kind of the mentality we're seeing there. Let's take a look at the 30,000 foot view. This graph doesn't, change too much overall here. But is this sharing on your end, Russ? Make sure it's so. We have 2,500 and just under 2,600 homes in the Omaha and Lincoln MLS. So perspective from an Omaha or from the market standpoint, what does that mean to you? So the average, home buyer, home seller. When I got my license 16 years ago, we had about 5,500, 6,000 homes on the market just in Omaha, not including Lincoln. So that's you see that market is our inventory is down. 1,541 active listings in the Douglas Sarpy County, the Omaha metro area. Existing homes is at 595. So we saw that number jump up. It was just about 550 last week. And new construction went down. So we these two numbers, our total listings and our Douglas County listings, Sarpy County listings, kind of stay the same, that we've seen over the last probably couple of months. But you see that existing homes have gone up, new construction has gone down. I just got an email yesterday from a builder. They're offering incentives on their spec homes. Some of those builders want to get those homes that have been built over the fall and they're ready to go. They want to get those off the books. So they're offering a little bit of discounts and, paid costs or things of that sort. So that's a good opportunity there. And then months of inventory down about 1%, 1/10 here. So it was at 2.5. Now we're 2.4. Our average sold price went up $1,000 from last week. We're still about 4% increase over year here. So, but yeah, that's kind of what we're seeing on the market side. So let's jump in here with Russ and see what's going on the mortgage side.
Hey, Mark, mortgage rates are up a little bit this week. That's primarily in response to stronger than expected employment numbers last Friday and also some better than expected retail inflation number, or pardon me, higher than expected retail inflation numbers this morning. It's important to know that mortgage rates, when they do move up, they don't move up in a straight line. They don't move down in a straight line when mortgage rates improve. And the significant reason for that is we see data reports along the way that have the result of peaks and valleys in between. Having said that, though, the last two economic reports that came out were strong enough that the bond market's a little bit spooked and some mortgage rates have moved up. We're probably approaching near 2024 highs, which is down from what it was in November of 2023. And that's also, at least at this point in time, if you're looking at futures situations like Fed now, we were hoping that we might see some improvement in the Fed funds rate, which is short-term rates that does have an indirect influence on long-term rates. We were hoping that could happen as early as May, but that's kind of been kicked to the curb now. And now they're looking at June. So having said that, it's important to note that when we do see mortgage rates come down, for those of you that know who Barbara Corcoran is from Shark Tank, she had projected, as well as NAR has even commented on it at different points in time, that if we see just a 1% drop in rates, that brings millions of new home buyers into the market. So in the event that you're thinking of waiting, this is not a good time to wait, because we're seeing, even despite the higher rates, we're seeing increased home prices just because there's such a shortage of supply relative to the demand. So in the event that you are looking to buy a home, this is the time to buy it. We'll right size the rates when they come down. If you're looking to sell a home and move up, keep in mind, even if you see a little bit of appreciation in your current home before you sell it, if you're moving up into a higher price point, that new home is going to appreciate higher as well. So, well, what I'd encourage you to do is get out there, and we'll right size the rate once they improve.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, we just saw in our numbers here that we had, over 100. We haven't seen that. Let's see where we're at here. Yeah, we've basically been for the last since end of February. We had 352, 387, 426, and where we go here, 400. Now we're getting closer to that 500 pending units over the last. So we're trending obviously up, and which is typical this time of year. That cycle we're going in, going into the spring, into the summer months. So that's very typical. And like you said, if interest rates do drop, that's just going to pull more buyers out there, which in turn is going to, supply demand aspect of it. So, but yeah, if we can help you in any way, we like to keep this video short and sweet. So, but if we can help you in any way, give us a holler. My number's right down here, 672-7670. Russ has got 290-8936. Nice thing about Russ, he's a mortgage broker, so he can shop a bunch of different options for you. So different investors and banks and things of that sort that he can look at and get the, best rate for you for your situation, and different programs that they offer their different institutions. So, but love to chat with you. If you have any questions, have a great weekend. Give us a holler, and we'll take care and see you.